Hello friends, I'm going to go over this solving with you because we didn't really talk about it much and it's been a long time since we did. So I just want to go over this in case you see them and feel like you needed a little refresher. When you are trying to get rid of a power, you are going to use a root. We've basically only done square roots probably in the past, and so we're going to be looking at higher order problems potentially. So you want to keep in mind that if your power is even, you'll be using an even root. So if you're taking the square root, fourth root, sixth root of a negative, meaning this one right here, so that's going to be the situation where you would have the square root of a negative, or whatever your index was in here was an even number, then you're going to have no solutions because there are no real solutions. It would have to be imaginary, and unless you're told to give imaginary answers, you usually just say no real solutions. And then if it's equal to 0, you're just going to get one answer. But when you have a square root, fourth root, any even root of a positive, meaning an a greater than 1, so if this is an even root, including square root, that's when you want to introduce a plus or minus sign. So that's going to be when your power is squared, fourth, sixth, and so on. Keeping in mind that if n is odd, you're only going to get one answer. And if it's an odd index of a positive, you're going to get a positive. So for example, the cube root of 8 is just 2, no other options. But if it's the odd index of a negative, you're going to get a negative. For example, the cube root of negative 8 would give you negative 2. But there's never more than one possibility. So as you're going through solving problems, you need to pay attention to that. So if I was starting this problem, I would get rid of the fourth power with either a 1/4 power or the fourth root, kind of however you want to do that. This cancels. I am doing this. I have the even index of a positive, and so I'm going to need plus or minus, and then I can refer to my chart and see that the fourth root of 16 would be a 2. Here I'm going to start by dividing by -3 because you can't get rid of a power until it's the only thing that you have left. So I'm just going to leave this here, and then I need to get rid of the sixth power with a sixth root, which is again even, but I'm in a scenario up here where I'm taking even root, that says even, of a negative. So I'm going to get no real solution because this is an even number right up here. And I'm looking at the even root of a negative. So this is going to be no real solutions. Alrighty. My first move in number 3, I have to multiply both sides by 2, giving me x to the 5th equals -128. So again, I can think of that as a 1/5 power to both sides, or I can think of it as a 5th root to both sides. It doesn't really matter what you do as long as it makes mathematical sense to you because they are the same exact thing. This cancels. I am taking the odd root of a negative. I'm going to get one answer only, and my answer is going to be the 5th root of 128 negative. So I actually get like -2.64 because 2, because it's not a whole value. The 5th root is not on your chart. 128 is on your chart, but not as the 5th root, if that makes sense. Okay, so here I just have to work backwards because with all solving, you want to get to the thing that's problematic. And here the thing that's problematic is that fourth power. So I start by subtracting 4. And that brings me to this. Then I go ahead and divide by 5. And that brings me down to the core of my issue, which is that fourth power. And then I need to get rid of a fourth power with a fourth root. And paying attention to my notes up there, I'm taking the even power, even root of a positive answer. And so I'm going to actually get 2 real solutions. I'm going to get plus or minus the square root of 21, which is like, I don't know, fourth root of 21, so about 2.14-ish. But I'm getting those 2 possible answers. So then I have to say, all right, well, I'm still trying to get my x alone. So here I'm going to add 3 to both sides and get my first possible answer. Here I'm going to add 3 to both sides, and then I'm going to be getting my other potential answer. Alrighty, so you just kind of have to pay attention. Like here, I'm looking at this next one and I say, okay, this one's odd. I'm only going to have the possibility of one answer. And I can fifth root both sides. And since I'm taking the fifth root of a positive value, I expect one positive number. This one happens to be on my chart. So that's a straight up 2. So I have x plus 8 equals 2. So my one and only solution is that x is negative 6. Now, if you're looking at this and like, that doesn't make sense. How'd she get a negative? I didn't get a negative from the root. I got a negative because I subtracted 8 at the end. So hopefully that'll help you out a little when you see the review problems on solving, because we haven't done a ton of those. So I wanted to just give you a little help on that. Have a great day. Bye.